Vizos Bracha, an idea in Gematria from the Parshah. There is a concept in Kabbalah, it's brought down in the Zohar, the concept of the 72 names of God. Some call it the 72-letter name of God. And I'll just read a short description of it, taken from Chabad.org. And it was written by Moshe Yaakov Wisniewski. The 3 verses of 72 letters each refer to the divine attributes of Chesed, Gevur, and Tiferes. The 3 consecutive verses from Exodus chapter 14, 19 through 21, each contain 72 letters. This is obviously a rare phenomenon. The letters of these verses can be arranged as 72 triplets of letters. We are taught that if we reverse the order of the letters of the middle set, or the middle verse, the 72 triplets become 72 quote-unquote names of God. In the story of the Exodus from Egypt, 3 consecutive verses describe God's power as manifest just before he split the sea of reeds, Yam Suf, which the children of Israel passed through on dry land while the Egyptians were drowned. And the verse in Hebrew is Vayisa malach Elohim ha'alech lefnei machanei Yisrael v'yelech me'achareihem vayisa amud ha'anan mipneihem v'ya'amod me'achareihem v'yavo bein machanei Mitzrayim u'bein machanei Yisrael v'yihi ha'anan v'achoshech v'ya'er es halayla v'lo korav zeh el zeh kol halayla v'yet Moshe es yado al hayam v'yolech Hashem es hayam beruach kadim aza kol halayla v'yasem es hayam lacharava v'yibaku hamayim. This translates to, and the angel of God who had been going before the camp of Israel went behind them, and the pillar of cloud that was before them stood behind them, and it came. It is a pillar of cloud, but it puts the malach, the angel of God in the cloud as the same. Just it came. Bein machanei Mitzrayim ubein machanei Israel, between the camp of Egypt and Israel, and the cloud and the dark, and it lit up the night. And it said that it lit up for Israel, but it darkened it for Egypt, and the two did not come in contact with each other all night. And Moses stretched out his hand, his hand, over the sea, and God had moved the sea through an eastern wind, a strong eastern wind all night. And he turned the sea into dry land. Haravat, I think the connotation is it was like damp, dry land, but it was dry compared to the water. And Vayibaku hamayim, and the water split. Okay. From these verses, we have this 72-letter name of God. And the last letter, the last name is the name Mem Vav Mem. And there's different teachings on these 72 names of God. Some say you shouldn't say them. Some say they're so powerful that you should just meditate on them, or you can say the letters. Some pronounce them, some don't. But I will take the opinion that I'll say the letters, but not the actual name itself. So the last name, so to speak, is Mem Vav Mem. And besides, I'm not sure I would know how to pronounce it correctly anyway. What's the actual correct pronunciation? So just to say the letters would be enough information about it. So the first one is Vav, because it's Vayisa, it's the first letter of that. And then the next verse is going to be Hey, from the reverse of the next verse, and then it's like an acrostic. It goes from the three verses. But anyway, the last name, and the reason why I'm starting with the last name is because the last name is the name of today in a counting system where I started counting from Tisha B'Av this year, which was on July 27th, Thursday, July 27th of 2023. And that was Tisha B'Av of 5783, and that was day one, and that was represented by the name Vav He Vav, which is the first of the 72 names. And if you start 72 names, and day one is Tisha B'Av, then when is day 72 going to be? 70. I didn't know at the time, but I found out midway because I counted. I saw it on the calendar what day it was going to be, and it was going to be I'm going to use this term sort of like it's not used so much in Judaism, but I'll use it. Magical, mystical day of Hoshana Rabbah. It really is a magical and mystical day. Those are the best words I can use to describe it. And the reason why that's interesting is because magical and mystical are both stem from the letter Mem. And that's the last word. Mem Vav Mem. Magical, mystical. Anyway, the Gematria value of magical and mystical is 86. If you do in regular, Mem Vav Mem, I'm saying. Mem Vav Mem is 86. If you do in regular Hebrew Gematria. But there's a special Gematria known as the Manzapach, the Sofit, which you count the last letters have different values. Like Mem is actually 600. If you do that, then Mem Vav Mem is equal to 646, and that is the number that showed its power, so to speak, today with the word for God, Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem Elokim, or we're going to say the pasuk Bereshis bara Elohim es hashamayim es haaretz, as we're going to read. If you count the Mem as 600, Elokim equals 646. And that is the same value as V'zosa Bracha, which is the last Parshah of the Torah. So, V'zosa Bracha in regular Gematria equals 646, and that equals Elokim in Manzapach Gematria. And the word mutter means permissible, equals 646. And in the Daf Yomi today, in America's Daf Yomi, at minute 28:37, 28 minutes and 37 seconds into it, there was a diagram of Trumas Halishka, and the diagram has a lot of good illustrations in the shir. The word mutter was very big. It was big on the thing. So mutter showed up today. We see that these laws of creation, that these words of creativity, they're in the creation, they're in the reality. Mutter equals 646, and there's also we're going to do Yom Tov Laning, but it's officially V'zosa Bracha as the last parsha. So when you are in the blessing, when you are in pure positivity, then everything is mutter. You don't have to worry about usher and mutter, because when you are in the blessing, V'zosa Bracha, you're in the realm of mutter. You know what's usher, and you're not even there. You don't have to ask, is this mutter, is this usher? That's the word. It's a little bit subtle. Maybe not all will understand it, but it's basically saying that when you're in the blessing, V'zosa Bracha, and you're in pure positivity, there is no question of Asr and Mutter. Then you see the power. Now, the description of the Mem Vav Mem name in the 72 names is spiritual purification, integrity, self-correction, taking things easy, and taking responsibility. It's interesting because you would think that taking it easy and taking responsibility are opposites. But if you take it easy in the right way and you stay truly in the blessing, then you are taking responsibility, and all is mutter. Spiritual cleansing and emotional power, cleansing negative energies. So, with God's help, we will enter the realm of 646 in the upcoming year. Thank you, and have a great Shabbos.